Share
Good
my
evening. This is
screen.
the April meeting of the Norwalk Parking Authority. We have our agenda on the screen, and the first item is public comment. If there is anyone from the public wishing to speak, please limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and be mindful that that the public comment is not a discussion. So we'll hear your presentation, and then in our discussion part of the agenda, we will discuss the topic. So if there's anyone from the public, you could be brought up.
There is not, Eric.
Oh, no one. Okay. Excellent. So then the previous month's meeting minutes, is there any comments or discussion on those? All right, hearing none, then we'll need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the previous month's meeting minutes.
Right, thank you, Judd. Can I have a
And
second?
a second?
Thank you, Peter. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. I don't see or hear Matt, but somebody said he's here, right? But we have majority carry, so all right, thank you. So then the engineering and project report. Sirach, are you gonna, or Brian, who's doing that?
It's me. Sorry. Can you
Okay,
guys
good.
hear me okay?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You guys see my screen still, right?
Yes.
I'm looking around my entire desktop, just trying to look for what I'm showing, but we're good. So yeah, just a couple updates that I wanted to run by the commission. First one's about the Yankee Doodle exterior repairs and improvement project. Good news is that the contractor will be on site on Monday to mobilize. Very excited to get this started, and also looking forward to showing the neighborhood the progress that we're making, because I think it's it's going to actually show the neighborhood that the project's starting and it's real. Rocky and I and we continue to walk Wall Street to inform all businesses of the project, and most importantly, just kind of urging, informing them that the garage will remain open during the construction, which is important to them, and just trying to get them to understand that it's going to be a temporary inconvenience, but overall it could be a huge improvement by the end of this. I also met with Mark Allen today from the Wall Street Neighborhood Association, just to connect and go over some of our initiatives. It was a great conversation. I look forward to further collaborating with him and that association. I think it just overall helps our projects that we're doing, and just get the buy-in of the neighborhood, which is pretty paramount in what we're doing. Any questions on this upcoming the upcoming start of the project for Monday?
Brian, they're going to start by cutting the ribs?
Yeah, so we're meeting on site on Tuesday to kind of discuss how we're going to do the rib cutting, because that's the part that needs to take most care out of the entire project. So me, I'm sure Jim will be there, and also our representative from Desmond, just to oversee everything and make sure that all the specs that are in the construction plans are being followed, and the process is good. And eventually, we might be blocking off more space at the beginning than what we need, and then once we have a better idea how the process is going, especially with the rib cutting, we could start kind of maybe backing out some, opening up more of the spots, and just kind of going with the flow, just to make sure we're utilizing our assets properly.
So Brian, once it gets rolling, if there are milestones along the way that could be celebrated, maybe we could find those and invite either the people in the area or invite whomever, just for a milestone celebration.
Yeah, and I think you know, that's one of the things I've been waiting on the contractor with was the schedule on the work and just to kind of get an idea what parts of the project when they get hit, we'll know that it might, you know, this is the date that all the ribs are done and the rest of the project is going to kind of go at light speed just to finish. Cause I think that's the most complicated. I'm just waiting on that schedule from the contractor, but once I have something, I can definitely share it with the commission.
Okay. And I'm not suggesting we, pull something out of thin air, but if there's something,
Yeah.
Noticeable that people would
Sure.
enjoy celebrating, then.
Yeah, sure. And I think that once this project's going, the facade part of the project will, it's kind of I'm already starting to work on that RFP just to get that out so we can get the aesthetic improvements started as soon as this part is finished, so we can just keep the momentum and get this part of the just get this entire project finished. And I think having some type of press release or some type of marketing strategy out there, just letting people know that now you're going to see, the improvements that we show in the renderings that we have and on the picture that I have on the slide here.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the next project that we have is the RFP for the parking operator. It's going well. The select committee has assembled and they're very engaged with the proposals and are performing interviews for all 4 proposers tomorrow. Once the interviews are complete, the members will then have a meeting to discuss the RFP and start to make a decision on awarding the contract and other next steps if necessary. And that's it for my the engineering and project report.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, Sarak, you're up.
I am going to stop share for you, Rocky. You're all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would begin trying to share my screen.
You good?
Yep, good. Can you see my
cool.
screen now?
Yes.
You're good.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm for the month of March. I'm going to start with how we did when comparing it to budget. Overall, we finished the month with a positive fund balance, a little over $50,000 fund balance on a budgeted loss for the month. And even though we missed revenue by 2.3% in parking revenue, we did a good saving in expense, which resulted in a positive fund balance. And most of the saving came from payroll, repair and maintenance, and operating expenses, which made up about $41,000, and the remainder is through the different line items. So we finished budget compared to our fund balance favorably for the month. On a year-to-date, also we were favorable, both increased revenue as well as some saving of expenses. On actual month versus year-to-date revenue for the month, following up seasonal trend, it was up comparing it to a prior month, February, but comparing it to prior year March, we were down 2.3%, and the decline mainly came from violations. I know revenue decline should not be positive, but the decline in violations is trending in a positive trend. Most of our revenue coming from a transient monthly. We did see a slight decrease in revenue at Haviland and on meters, but the majority of the decline is coming from the violation. All other facilities either surpassed prior year numbers or remained flat for the month. Also, on a year-to-date basis, revenue, our revenue is up compared to prior year. This is mainly coming from commuter facilities, South Norwalk train station garage, East Norwalk train station parking lots, and surprisingly, Yankee Doodle garage is outperforming prior year numbers. Transient activity for the month is up from last month. Again, following up seasonal trend. February was slower, so March we did good comparing it to prior month. But comparing it to prior year, as mentioned earlier, Meter and Haviland, Meter transient activity and Haviland transient activities has seen a slight decline, and that's mainly attributed to leisure activity being down, and we've seen commuter activity increasing. So that translates into decline in transient and leisure activity on Haviland and Meter Street. And majority of the meter decline came from the Sono area, so we're also looking at it into that. Permit activity for the month, number of permits sold for the month was higher, and comparing it to prior March as well, we did see an increase in permit activity for the month. And a little correction in the report that you've received. Permit revenue is showing, I made an error. Permit revenue is up, is 1.5% on the package that you have. It's showing that revenue was up comparing it to last month, but it's an error on my end. I'll send an updated version to Maritza for correction. But revenue was down 1.5% comparing it to last month's, and but permit activity was up. The reason for permit revenue being, even though activity was up and the revenue was down, was due to collection from Ford McMahon. That is aging issue, and that will be corrected in the next month. But the revenue increase, the permit activity increase came from mainly from the Ford McMahon increased storage fee at the rooftop. If you don't have any question, I'll go through the variance report. If you have any question, you can stop me anytime, so I don't have to stop. But a variance report for the month, from the revenue section, parking violation has met the requirement, and there is it's been the past 4 months, the violation revenue has been declining, and which is a good trend for us. We want most of our revenue to come in from monthly and transient activity, and it's even the ticket issuance has been declining recently. It's too early to tell if it is compliance or the decreased activity, but it is trending in a positive manner. Violation is declining. From the expense side, we have building repair and maintenance and utility expenses that met the requirement, and the repair and maintenance, it is some expenses due to the cold weather. We were not able to do some works in the maintenance team, so you will see as in the coming months some of the deferred repairs being done in the coming April, May, and June. Utility expense is a little over budget, and that's because one of the utility companies missed an invoice that they never sent us, and we were following up with them. They sent it out in March, and that got paid. That's why it's a little over budget. Correct.
So, Rock, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
But so patrol, I know you say the violations is down, and that sounds good the way that you've described it, but the patrolling in enforcement is pretty consistent, through, so you can get a good reading on the violations being down.
That is correct, Pete. When we saw the decline in ticket issuance as well as the payment and violations, we checked the enforcement schedule and all the procedures, and nothing has changed from our end, and that is why we're closely monitoring it, and it's too early to tell if it is compliant. But we have not changed any procedure on violation on enforcement.
Okay, because maybe it's just what I see is sometimes I seem like I see folks all the time, and sometimes I don't seem to see you guys. But but I'm only one little guy out there taking a look. So it's from where you're coming from, as far as your personnel is all up to staff, everything is very consistent across the board, I guess.
Correct. Yep. No procedure has been changed. We've added some new staff, but that should not change the routes and the practices that they've been doing. So, but I'm glad you brought this up. I'll have staff, visit when they patrol that area. I'll make sure that they make themselves visible to you.
Just to mention, they're really nice guys. Just to mention that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
And this is the full financial package for the month. I'll just pause for a few to see if there's any question with the financial statement. And the ones that you see highlighted are the ones that were mentioned in the variance report. All right, questions going to the system-wide. Overall, system-wide transient activity is slowing down a little bit, but revenue is up comparing it to last year. And reason for this is as mentioned earlier, the increase transient activity is coming from a high rate parking facilities like the South Norwalk train station and the East Norwalk and that East Norwalk parking lot, and that is why revenue on a year-to-date basis is above last year. That is transient revenue. As far as payment method, we're seeing an increased credit card usage for transient parking. Comparing it to prior year, we were at 89% in credit card transaction versus 93% this year. So that's a positive trend that most people are using credit card instead of coin and cash. Permit sales, as mentioned earlier, sales of the permit active permits has been up for the month, has gone up for the month, and that is mainly coming from the Yankee Doodle Garage, Ford McMahon, and revenue is down as mentioned earlier because of collection from Yankee Doodle from Ford McMahon. I'm sorry. 27. Also on the permit side of it, we're monitoring permit activity, and we are 17% below on all our all-time high, which is on 2018 and 19, and 27% above our all-time low, which was 2019 and 20. On-street parking. We're seeing a decline in on-street activity, especially mainly in the Sono area, and comparing it to prior year and prior month. Comparing it to prior month, we just following seasonal trend is going up, but comparing it to prior year, we're seeing a decline at the on-street activity. And interesting facts on the on-street activity. Last year, we were at 78% in cash and in credit card, and 22% in coin and bill. For the year, for this fiscal year, we're at 92% in credit card and 8% in coin and bill.
Sirak, how are we doing on street in the Wall Street district?
Wall Street, there was only Main Street and East Wall that showed a slight decline comparing it to prior year. All other streets in Wall Street area surpassed prior year numbers.
Well, good. Okay.
The only one in Wall Street area that showed a decline was Main Street and East Wall Street. To parking enforcement, comparing it to last month, ticket issuance was down. And revenue was also down. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it's too early to see if it was compliance, but we're seeing a decline citation for and in all Norwalk area. Sorry. And part of this is a parking violation collection program. 2024. We're doing over almost the same as what we did a full year last year. So its collection is going very well. All the accounts is being collected from mostly from all tickets that are past 2017-18, and that's a collection that Duncan is doing. And Eric, I know you wanted to know about how much of the beach revenue we're collecting. I passed it out last month too, but for this month, even though we're not operating on the beach, the total collection, all age balance was $2,000 coming from the beaches.
And you're able to track what it costs us to perform that appeals process, right?
That is correct. Yes, any collection effort that was done to collect this $2,085, we can track down how much it cost us.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you. This says ticket versus demand. Even though we're seeing an increased demand from prior months to this month, ticket issuance comparing it to demand is going down. It's in the graph showing, and even from prior month, from February to March, we're seeing a decline. So it's 2% on a 92,000, almost 93,000 demands.
That's encouraging. I'm happy to see that.
Yes, looking at the we're drilling down on the enforcement, and we're seeing a positive result, and we're hoping it continues that way. And this is ticket issuance comparing them to that 2.5% remain consistent from prior year. I know it was 2.6 last month. This is 2.5 overall, comparing it to demand. Pay by sale activity is still showing an increased demand month over month, and it is prior year, it is the total revenue coming from system wide from Park Mobile is 27.8% system wide, and that's the demand, and then 13.3% system wide revenue. Same time last year, it was the demand was at 24.5 system wide, and then revenue was at 12.2. So that shows that keeps continuing to show an increase in Park Mobile usage. And if there is any question, that would be my presentation.
Excellent. Thank you, Sir.
Thank you.
So Brian, on the agenda,
Okay.
under old business, and Sirach, I don't know if you're going to do that or Brian.
Yeah, so just a really quick intro, just keep Rocky going because he did a really good presentation. Rocky, thank you. I'd like Rocky to, he put, me and him kind of been going back and forth with customer training, and they put some together last week when I was away. So I'd like Rocky to share a few words on how it went, what was kind of taught, and just kind of briefly just give a quick overview of it.
Sure. This was our quarterly customer service training. This year, this happened this past Thursday and Friday. We hired Cindy Campbell. She's with IPMI. IPMI is the International Parking and Mobility Institute and Mobility Institute. She is a trainer with IPMI, and she was used to be an enforcement officer and then a police officer. So she did an excellent training, which she was able to connect with all the staff, especially with the enforcement team. She did speak their language, and it was a very good training. It was a 2 days training. On day one, the first one was about communication, active listening, and the non-verbal languages that people give out as dealing with customers. She connected well with the employees, and we did get a positive feedback from employees that came out of the training. They wanted to this to be a repeated training. With professionals coming in and training them. So it was a very successful training, and we were able to, pass that, that customer excellence, customer service excellence message to most of the employees.
Excellent. How often is this going to occur?
I'm asking the higher ups to make this professional training at least twice a year, but definitely it's going to be once a year, and the rest of the 3 trainings that we will schedule over through the year will be through our HR department. Patrice Howell is our HR department that comes in, gives out the training. But we in going forward, we're putting in at least one professional trainer coming in and training the customers. It was well received. It was most of them came in and say it was a reset for them. It was as if refreshing their tools in the toolbox. Some of the common senses they've forgotten through repeated job, and it was well received with the employees, Eric. And I was hoping one board member to join. I know you guys are busy, but it was an excellent training, and I felt it. It was very connecting.
Thanks, Rocky. And I think, what I'd ask you to do, Rocky, is probably, let's get a comprehensive plan throughout the year, just so we can keep don't get it scheduled way in advance, so we keep to it, because these trainings are important, and it will just, it'll back our, customer service is paramount to what we do. And I think that having these trainings, having a training, program in place, and you and I could talk about maybe recommendations that we can bring to the board, saying, hey, listen, this is a program we want to run. If it costs any money on our end, if Laz is handling all those expenses, fine, but it's important that we get that set in stone so we can keep it up.
Absolutely, Brian.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Rocky.
Great. Thank you.
So the next update is happy to announce that the updated signage for Wall Street has been completely installed. Got a little picture here of the sign on that's right by the laundromat. They look great. I'm really happy with them. This will bring the pilot program that was set to streamline and better organize our signage to a close. Now that the signs have been installed, we can now go about scheduling a press conference in early May to implement the free 15-minute parking for all the spaces in the Wall Street area. Once we get a firm date, each of you will be invited to join for this announcement. I put a couple pictures. I put a picture of what the pay station sign, what the pay station screen is going to look like. In addition to the ADA parking we just put in last month, the free 15 minutes will be right there as well. So it's exciting. And as a reminder, this will allow all customers to have 15-minute free parking at all the multi-space meters. The picture is, like I said, it's going to go what it's going to look like when it's live. The MPA will be we're going to be handing out flyers to help explain the process to all local businesses. And we'll also plan on having an ambassador in the area to assist for the first few days of it going live. So very exciting. I know it's been kind of a struggle to get this out, but it's here, and I'm happy to say that it's pretty much done.
Hey, Brian, can we just talk a little bit about what you and I spoke of yesterday?
Yeah, if you want to.
So I just to reiterate, the free 15 minutes applies to when they would go up to a pay station. And
Correct.
Unfortunately on a Park Mobile, it's not, because we're charged for that, I guess. That's correct, right?
Yeah, so any Any, what do you call it? Sorry. Any process that you go through. Why can't I think
Your
of
mobile
the,
device, yeah.
any checkout you do of the, thank you. Any transaction that is done there's a 35-cent fee to it. So it doesn't, a free 15-minute doesn't turn into a free 15 minutes. It's going to cost a user 35 cents, which is not the route we want to go.
So I guess we're gonna have to try to get a plan on that to try to accomplish that, because there's not a pay station at every place, there's sometimes you have to walk around the corner or something, and it's just not simple, unfortunately.
Okay, I think that maybe we can look at other solutions to try to make it easier. I don't know, I mean, the closest ones, they're spread out pretty evenly around Wall Street, but we can definitely take a look and see what else we can do to try to help make this the process a lot, just
Yeah,
a little bit abundant.
yeah, I just like to jump in, Peter, if you truly have to go around the corner to find a pay station, then I think we need to look at placement, because that's not going to service the customers. Sirak, is there a map of where the pay stations are?
Yes, we have them, not organized in all the locations, but we know exactly where they are, from a map that we screenshot off from.
Maybe
Right, because
what
my
we,
understanding was the pay stations are for, on a straightaway, a pay station would be visible. If the road changes direction, then there would need to be another pay station. So maybe let's confirm that, because Peter's bringing up a good point. If the pay stations aren't convenient, then that makes this a little bit less effective. And then Brian, as far as rolling this out, it seems like the kind of thing in a full page newspaper ad, or I don't know what the publicity people would have to say about it, but something that rolls it out in a big way. I think I remember Jim commenting once that no other municipality is doing this, so it's
Okay.
it's something we should put out there in a big way.
sure. I have a meeting with our communication director about this on Friday, so I can bring that up to see some of our avenues on how to really make a splash here.
Yeah, if I can just interject kind of and I spoke with Brian about this yesterday a little bit. My customers come from often a long distance. They don't come for a lot of time, but they may be driving from, say, Southern Fairfield County. But not just my situation. There's other situations like, say, Greer or Alma Bistro, these really good restaurants that I know I'll drive 20 minutes, no problem at all, coming from another town to come to downtown Norwalk, that just want maybe sometimes just to pick up food. That's so much, that's a big thing today, is just picking up food. And I know Brian was talking about these Uber Eats and so forth, but it's just I don't know the right way to go about it without, whacking the people with a charge. So yeah, anything we can look into this to make it simpler to benefit the consumer, that would be great.
Yeah, and I think ultimately getting this started with the pay station part, there could be solutions that when I go to the IPMI show in June, there might be solutions that either Flowbird or maybe a different technology provider might have. So it's something that, I think this is a good start, and we could probably just enhance the experience from here on out.
Sounds great.
Great.
Great, thank you. It is a great start, and we'll learn as we go, for sure. Yeah. All right, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So new business on Washington.
So it's kind of related to what we're doing at Wall Street. Since the pilot program was successful, it's time to shift gears to South Norwalk. The goal is to install new signage and get the free 15-minute parking at all the spaces in South Norwalk in conjunction with what we're doing at Wall Street. My goal right now is to bring our sign recommendations to our next meeting, and if approved, we can go about ordering and installing the signs by end of June. The 15-minute free space parking would happen shortly after the installation of those signs.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, 35 minutes. I think we got through our agenda. If no one has anything else, we can have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Peter.
Second.
Matt, thank you. I hear you, but I can't see you. All in favor? Perfect.
Aye.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. All right, have a great evening.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right.
Thanks.
All right,
Yeah,
bye.
night.